Man, I have been to some events, networking, conferences, seminars, workshops, seen people speaking on stage and enjoyed some of these experiences. Loved the information I was presented with, loved the way the event was coordinated, but wondered why is no one captured this? I look around, see no cameras capturing this stuff. Why is no one capturing these moments, these speaker presentations, these the networking, just the environment? Why isn't anyone capturing this? I don't want you to make this mistake with your next event, your conference, your networking event, workshop, brunch, or what have you. I want to, in this episode of Show Up Better, present to you a full, comprehensive video coverage package for your event. What that looks like. What does it look like to cover your event from beginning to end? And we're going to talk about that in this episode. All right, so you're hosting an event. You got an idea for an event, a conference. It's going to be a few. I'll say conference. I use conference a lot. But this can be done with any type of event where you're going to be getting a lot of people together. Networking events tend to be a little bit shorter, so there's less opportunities. Conferences are just perfect for getting all this stuff. You're going to have breakout sessions going on. You're going to have, vendor booths and all this stuff. It's going to be a lot going on at a conference, and so that's what a lot of the stuff I'm referring to. I'm speaking about this in terms of a conference. So, but really this stuff can be applied to any event. So we're talking about a comprehensive video coverage package and what that can look like for your event and what can it do for you? How can you benefit? Can you monetize this? And how can you use this to grow your event or your business? So most people host events because they're looking for a way to ultimately to funnel people into some type of transaction. Whether they be coaching, consulting, it might be like some technology stuff, software, security, IT, whatever. It might be some medical type stuff. You're trying to get people to buy a product or whatever. Ultimately, the goal is to get people to buy something. If not now, later. And with the problem with most events, like I mentioned, going to an event and not seeing any coverage of it, nobody's capturing any of these moments. People leave these events and they forget about them. But you, the host, have nothing to promote the event. Like it's a forgotten event. 2 weeks later, nobody's even remembered that the event happened. And you have no content. The only content you have is what people captured on their cell phones and shared to their social media. And that's not going to cut it because you're dependent on the attendees to capture the content for you. That's your job. It's your event. You should be capitalizing on every opportunity to create content in this event and encouraging attendees to do the same thing. And we'll talk about a little bit about that with the video podcast booth as an option. So when you're planning an event and video is going to be a big part of it, it's always a good idea to have the producer, the videographer, the production company, a representative, somebody in the room when you're planning this stuff so they can make recommendations on things from a production standpoint. You might have an idea to do one thing a certain way. Producer comes and say, hey, that's going to be much harder. This is a much easier way if you're going to have video with it, or this is the type of equipment that's going to be required. This is the lighting. This is the setting. This is what we need. Or you might have an idea to live stream. The producer needs to be able to get to the venue, see what it looks like, test the connection, the internet connection to let you know what's possible. Whether it be hardwire, Wi-Fi, what's the speed? You're going to need standard. You got, you only got enough speed to do a standard quality, or you got HD quality streaming opportunities. They're going to let you know that. So it's good to have them in the room. Even the layout of the venue. What does it look like? Where we're going to be positioned? Are we going to have to move cameras, move equipment, lights? From a producer standpoint, we don't want to move anything. Minimal movement of lights, cameras, equipment, anything. We want everything to be stationary. So, and we got to have a run of the show, like what's going to be happening, so we can know in advance, hey, this is what's going on now, but they're going to these breakout sessions. We want to move some of this here, something over here. So have somebody from the production company, videographer, producer, whatever, in the room when you're planning this stuff so they can make recommendations to make this better. Because you're going to be looking at this from the standpoint of the people in the room. But a lot more people are going to see the content than the people that attend the event. So having that video first approach, yeah, it might, present some obstacles in the beginning, but in the long run, 100 people came to the event, but 100,000 people are going to see the content. So I think it's safe to say that you might want to focus a little bit more on the content than what's going on in the event. Now, some people might disagree with this, and you can let me know. Just check out, go to the comments, leave a review, write something, send me an email and say, hey, I disagree with what you're saying, but, and you better have some good reasoning behind that. But make sure somebody from the production company is in the room when you're planning this stuff. So let's get into it. A good comprehensive video coverage package doesn't just start with the day of the event. It starts with pre-event, like what's going on to promote this event. That's where it begins. So what are the importance of pre-event videos? Obviously, let's talk about the event. Let's generate excitement and anticipation for the conference. Let's get people excited about it. Let's invite the speakers in. You get with the speaker, y'all create some content together. Maybe they're giving some insight into what they're going to be speaking about, why they were chosen. Why is it important that you listen to what they have to say? What makes them the expert at what they do? What makes them good at what they do? Why them? So get them involved with the content. You may want to get the sponsors involved with it, because everybody involved wants more exposure. Nobody's going to turn down the opportunity to create some content to promote an event that they're going to be at. So now you'll create that content with them, create some social media stuff. They share it. You guys are collaborators. Everybody's seeing this content, and that's just bringing more people, get more eyeballs on your content, on your event. Also, with these videos, you want to encourage early registration. You want to give the details of the event, date, time, the venue, location, all of that stuff. Some other things you might want to highlight in pre-event videos are just the venue itself. Showcase the venue and the conference atmosphere. Like, where's this event? Is that a hotel, fancy hotel? Is this a affluent area of town? Like, what's going on around the event, the venue? Is there going to be places for people to shop and eat and lodging around the venue? So highlighting all that stuff gets more people excited about your event. So of course, introducing the keynote speakers and their area of expertise, highlighting the area, the venue, and make sure you give details on the date, time, and encourage early registration. That's your pre-event stuff. Just create as much content you can to get people excited so you can share on social media, and put some of this stuff in your email list also. And don't ever forget about YouTube. That's important too. So that's pre-event. That's when it starts. Covering an event in a full comprehensive manner is, it doesn't just start at the event. It's pre-event. So during the event, let's talk about during the event. This is obviously when the work is going to be done. If it's planned out right, the logistics are set, you're ready to roll. So the biggest thing is going to be capturing the speaker presentations, the panels, and audience interactions. So you want multi-camera setup for that. I would say a minimum of 2. If you can go through it, go with more, go with more. But you want one camera capturing the speaker and the audience in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then you want a camera angle that's tighter up on the speaker, maybe catching them from the waist up. So the more camera angles gives you more opportunities for editing and creating some engaging video afterwards. One camera angle is you're gonna be limited, but if you can catch 2 and go back and forth and keep people engaged with the video with that, it's gonna be much better. So that's a B-roll from your event. This is important. It really is just random footage. You might be footage capturing the entire event, just capturing the atmosphere. What's going on, getting attendees networking, capturing them. Maybe people are going to the vendor booths and speaking with them. And people are just talking, networking. They're exchanging information. They're hugging. Maybe people who haven't seen each other in a while. Old colleagues and things like that. Or new friends, new connections. The goal is to get inside of these conversations if you can. And one way to do that while we're at it is the video podcast booth. This is something I want to say I've created, but this is something new that I offer to people who go into events. It's a basic 2-camera, 2 podcast mic set up on a table. Takes up no more room than a vendor booth, your typical vendor booth. It allows people to sit at this table and have conversations about the event, or really can be about anything. So as the event host, if you are sponsoring this, and this can be for vendors can take advantage of this if they're showcasing a product or service there. It could be for the event host, it could be for sponsors. Like, anybody can have this as part of their setup, their vendor setup. but you control who sits there, how long, and the topics of discussion. You might have one person on your team dedicated to just sitting there and conducting interviews with people as they come in and out, move through, attendees, sponsors, vendors, anybody that's there who's willing to talk. Get it on wax, as they used to say back in my day. Get it on wax so you can use this content to promote the event. So that video podcast booth, and you can check out more of that. Just go to my website, podcasttitans.com, and you can see more information about the video podcast booth. But that's just another way of capturing more interactions, and you also get the insight. Once of course you want to get people excited about your event. You want to create a buzz, and that's what this is going to do. When people come into an event, they see mics and lights and this table there, and they see people sitting there having a good time and talking. They're going to get excited about it too. It's going to create a buzz, and that's just going to increase the engagement in your event. So the B-roll, which is what I was talking about, the B-roll, random footage capturing attendee networking, exhibitor booth, and just the environment, the atmosphere, things going around. Now, this is random footage alone. This footage might just be for a highlight video, which, but when you put this together with your main footage, your speaker presentations, your whatever's captured from attendee interviews, testimonials, and things like that, when you put this B-roll with those, now you're able to tell a better story. And it's just going to add to it. So capturing B-roll, that might be just one person dedicated to just capturing B-roll the whole day. Maybe they're catching, then you got photographer and, whatever. But somebody that's all they do all day. They just capture B-roll. So just another one of those things you want to have during the event. So we talked about capturing the speaker presentations, the panels, all of that stuff. Make sure that it's top quality. We're not just there with a camera. We got to make sure we mic'd up audio. If possible, the best case scenario, you want to be able to tap into a board. So anybody who picks up a mic and speaks, we're capturing that. We're plugged into the board. We're tapped into the board. But in some cases, you might have to put a mic on people as they're presenting and capture the audio that way. Whatever, in any case, you want to make sure that the audio is captured the best possible quality, because the audio is going to be like that. I mean, to me personally, that's the first thing I look for in video. Like I want to be able to hear it. I want to know how the quality of the audio. That's a big deal for me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like if it sounds like they didn't put any effort into capturing good audio, like I'm not interested in this video. I'm not. So we talk about that. We talk about the video podcast booth as a way of encouraging conversations between attendees, and there's so many other ways. I'll have a whole podcast episode about the video podcast booth, but there's so many ways you can use this and monetize the content you get from there. So many ways. And then capturing B-roll from the event, just random shots, atmosphere, environment, venue, vendors, interactions with people, catching the speakers before they go on stage, maybe right as they come off stage, and using that and putting that with the speaker, the video for the speaker. Like that'd be great as well. Make a great intro for those videos. So that's during the event. Now, obviously, you can do more. There's other things you can do. You can have a whole setup for people to do interviews over here. You can, live streaming. I forget about that. Live streaming, which is very important. There's some pros and cons to live streaming, of course. Biggest thing with live streaming is the technical stuff. I think I would probably say that's the con, right? You depending on what you plan to do with the content. Live streaming just opens up some more venue avenues for you, revenue. So if people pay to attend an event, you might want to have that live stream be exclusive too. So it's not just available. It's not just on YouTube and Facebook. Like it's on your website, and people got to register or pay to get access to this. That's when some of the technical stuff comes in, and you might have somebody, a website developer or whatever, can put that together, help put that together. Because from a producer standpoint, and I look at it from a production standpoint, my job will be providing that link, that embed code for you to put on your website. Now, the registration and the paywall or whatever that goes in front of that's going to be up to you in most cases to get that together so that, everything can go off without a hitch. But my job will be to provide that code for you to get to your developer. That way, when I hit that button on that live stream, boom, it's there. We ain't got to worry about it. And people can go in after they registered, and everything's taken care of. So that's that. And then, of course, there's the speed of the connection quality. If you're at an event, a venue where a lot of people using that Wi-Fi, do you really want your live stream to be dependent on that Wi-Fi that hundreds of people are are on. You know, you're going to have a dedicated connection. Is it going to be hardwired? Is it going to be Wi-Fi? So that's that. So once you have that, all that worked out, what can you do with this content? Obviously, you can charge people for that. What this does, a high quality live stream, it just boosts your brand, right? And that's what all of this does. That's what all of this for your event does. Brand awareness, you know, is increasing that for the sponsor, for the vendors, for you, of course. But that's the goal here: a high quality live stream, get more people involved. Maybe if they're not able to be there, at the very least, you have their email address. So maybe you're not charging them to watch it, but you're getting their email address, and they need that email address to access it. So now after the event, you're able to continue marketing to them. So yeah, live streaming, make sure you work that out. Of course, there are cons to it, but the pros outweigh the cons greatly. And if you want to keep it simple, just live stream it to Facebook or YouTube. I would suggest YouTube over Facebook. YouTube, you have a little bit more control of this. You can go back in, put a nice thumbnail over it, retitle it if you need, add a description, put your links in there. Facebook, you're kind of limited with that stuff. You have less control. So I would keep it to YouTube if it's going to be free. But if you can, get it to your website. Get this embedded on your website. Put it behind a paywall. Or make people register so you at least have their email addresses before they can access your content. All right, so that's that. That's the during event content. And then there's post event. This is my favorite part. This is the curating the content. This is where we pull out the good stuff. This is where we select the most impactful moments of the conference and that footage and put it together, tell stories or however we need to. We might have, ideally you want to capture as much as you can. And then so you can put it together and you can be selective about what goes out, when it goes out, what platform it goes to. Highlighting the key takeaways, speaker quotes, audience reactions. You know, the video podcast booth might do some of that for you. You've captured your speaker presentations. You captured random interviews out, put mics on people. They got handheld mics or whatever. You've captured all of that. You got your breakaway sessions. Maybe you capture some of the stuff. Maybe your video podcast booth is your breakaway session. And maybe people paid an exclusive VIP or something like that to sit down with an expert. Or so I don't want to go too far into that. We'll do that in another episode. So be sure you're following and liking this podcast. We got more information to come. So post event, obviously you want to get your content together for social media. That's a low hanging fruit, right? You want to be able to drip this out over a certain amount of time over the next few months and have a plan to where, hey, I know my next event is 6 months away. This content is going to get me all the way up through that. So that's your social media stuff. But then you got your YouTube. This is where you start to put together the longer videos for YouTube. Stuff that you got to think of each one of these videos as a searchable piece of content. So you can break down a speaker presentation that might be 20 minutes. You can break that down into 4 or 5-minute videos. And each one of these is a piece of content, a searchable piece of content that goes to your page where you have your information, your branding, and your website information on there. Of course, you want to make sure you get it out to your email list, but here's the big thing. Let's talk about monetizing this content. Because if you had an event and people paid to attend your event, you got experts there speaking on a panel or doing speaker presentations. People paid to get this information. These experts they prepared this. They're experts at what they do. They can speak at length about what they do. They might have had handouts and giving people handouts. People were taking notes. People were taking this information in. If it's me, I'm figuring out a way to use that or package that. If we capture the video, I'm figuring out a way to package that and using that. So if they paid $50, let's say, to attend your event and capture this stuff, you can package this stuff up into maybe a membership type deal. So people have access to this stuff and you're dripping it out. Maybe it's a subscription or that's the same thing as a membership. Maybe it's a one-time payment to have access to this stuff. The people that attended the event, you definitely want to give them access to it. They already paid for it. So give them access to it so they can remember this stuff, so they can take it with them. They know where they got it from. They got to go to your platform. Maybe it's Kajabi or some other one of these platforms to access it. This is how you keep them engaged. But the people who weren't there, maybe they want to have access to it. Maybe just charge them $10 to access it. Maybe $5. I don't know. That's up to you. But use this this is a digital product, essentially. It's passive income that you don't have to work for. You continue to promote it by putting out the content about your event. And maybe you tell them, hey, go check it out. You can get access to this stuff. But this is another source of revenue. Maybe it's a return on your investment, or maybe it's just passive income that you put away and whatever, start preparing for the next event. But either way, it's money that you make that you don't have to work for, passive income. Or maybe you give it away for free, but at the very least, get their email address. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Using the content as a way, making it exclusive. It's high quality, but it's exclusive. To want access to it, you may not have to pay, but you're gonna have to give up your email address so we can keep sending you information about what it is we got going on, why you need to be in my coaching program, or whatever. So that's that. That's the post. So you got your social media, you got your speaker presentations, and you're using your B-roll here and there throughout each of these videos to kind of help enhance the engagement and storytelling and keep, all that stuff just going to make it better. There might be situations where you can put this stuff in the form of a podcast. So your speaker presentations, any of this stuff, you got good audio, put it in a podcast. It's yours. Take the content, put an intro on it. Maybe you create another intro for all of your event stuff. You put a little intro on it, kind of telling people how this content was captured, the situation, and what, maybe a little information about the speaker, but then it goes straight to the audio. That's just more content on your platform that people can tune into. So that's another thing. That was kind of off there. I don't want to get too far off. But, obviously you got your highlight videos for post-event, summarizing the conference, key conference events, obviously for your social media and your website. Offer individual session recordings to attendees. This would be paid on or membership level, like we talked about. People can pay to access this information, subscription, one time, whatever. All the interviews. Imagine having an event and 30 people sat down at your podcast booth or gave testimonials. Like, that's 30 pieces of content that you can share. You share one a week. That's 30 weeks. Even if it's 2 weeks, that's 15 weeks of content, of short form content that keeps people engaged, attracts new people. And you're tagging. What if you tag the people that are in these interviews? Tag them as collaborators. So not just your feed, your followers see it, but their followers see it. They get excited. They want to know more. And it just didn't cost you anything. You're growing your following and preparing for the next event. And when you have all that, you have the insight from those interviews, you know what it is people really want to see, what they really enjoy from that event. And now you're using that for your next event. So, yeah. Of course, delivery and distribution are important. So I talked about social media, but don't forget about your website. Don't forget about YouTube. These are very important. And there's some cases where if it's some real good stuff, you might want to create blog posts around it. Write blog posts around some of that stuff and embed the video. I'm a huge proponent for that, like using your website, Google, SEO, get some good keywords to get that, because while you listening to these interviews and these interactions, these testimonials, you're going to learn what people really like, what questions they have, what is the stuff that they were searching for, what did they come here. Now that helps you out with creating that content afterwards. Like, I know people come to my event are looking for this. I'm going to create a blog post around that, and I got a video talking about it, and we're going to explore. We're going to put that. We're going to promote this blog post along with the video and all that stuff. So it's just so much. And at this point, this is probably not even something that you're worried about. If you got a good producer, somebody who can go through this, like, the curating part is like my favorite part of it. So this is what I enjoy the most. It's usually where I'm the one saying, hey, you have this content. I suggest you do this with it. Hey, you have this interview. You have this 2 hours of presentations. Here's how we can break this up. You take a look at it. Tell me what you think. And in most cases, people just going to let me do my thing. And that's what I like. So to wrap this up, we talked about a comprehensive video package and for your event, which an event, ultimately you're trying to, increase your brand awareness. You want people to know about you and what you do. The sponsor's going to get involved because they want their brand awareness as well. Vendors are going to come. Everybody's coming. Everybody's gaining from this. Everybody's winning. A full comprehensive video package or coverage package for your event, doesn't just start on the day of the event. There's the pre-event stuff, and then there's the post-event. What are we doing to promote the event? What are we doing at the event? And how are we using this content going forward to continue to grow the business, the event, and looking forward, keep people engaged. So that's that. listen, I'd love to talk to you about your event and how we can put together a package to cover your event. Just give me a call. Or visit my website, Podcast Titans. You can go just book a call with me. We can talk 15 minutes. Even if you just got a few questions, just go to the website, podcasttitans.com. Or you can email me directly, cjwilliams@ptmediapros.com. cjwilliams@ptmediapros.com. Of course, you go to my website, you can see a lot more of the stuff we do. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. Please be sure to share it with your event host friends, whether they plan on hosting an event. Maybe they've done something in the past and they're looking for a way to step it up. This is it. Video. It's 2024. It's time to start thinking about video first before you host an event. How are we going to get more people than attended the event? How are we going to get more people to consume the content so we can build on this event? How do you attract a big audience? You attract a big audience with a small audience. You see small audience, people gather around to see something. When people start to see that, they want to know what y'all looking at. Use your small audience at this event, capture that. You're going to be a bigger audience at the next one. All right. And this is how you're going to show up better for your event. All right. I'm CJ Williams. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I'll talk to you guys next time. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, this is CJ Williams, host and producer of this podcast. Be sure to head over to the YouTube channel, Life of a Video Producer, to check out the full video of this interview, or you can click on the link in the show notes. If you have any questions, feel free to send them over to me. Email them to me, cjwilliams@ptmediapros.com. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to the show. I want to thank you for watching the video and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Until next time, everybody, go show up better.